Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and today's how to build video is going to be for the newly EZA'd Android 17 and 18. It's been a long time coming for this unit to finally get their EZA. I think they came out like, what, 5 years ago? They got their, they were released on 2022, just right after the great COVID. But anyways. So, if you're new to the channel, my name is Saiyan, and typically what I do here is I make Dragon Ball videos, specifically right now being build videos for Squadra and Dokkan. And in today's video, we are going to go ahead and go through the breakdown of this unit and give suggestions on how to build their hidden potential and what teams and other units you can utilize the unit with. If that all sounds good to you, please go ahead and hellstorm the like and subscribe button and hype button if you think it's hype enough. And let's just go ahead and jump right in. So, with their EZA, they do have a couple good 200% options here now. Thanks to the new AGL Android 16 right there. Gonna be the best home no matter what for them. But, you know, if you did not pull the 16, totally fine. I get it. Some substitute leaders would probably be this STR cell and the AGL cell, and then maybe someday when the GT17s get to an EZA, they might be a nice home. But otherwise, I don't really suggest them on too many other options. I mean, you can, of course, run them on the Blues if you want to, but, I mean, they're going to be performing vastly differently. Now, their leader skill has changed only a little bit in that Worldwide Chaos and Future Saga P+3 HP attack and defense of 180 instead of 170. Their super attack has changed a little bit too, with greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn and sealing the enemy's super attack. Their passive is attack and defense of 200%, damage reduction rate of 17%, chance of evading enemies' attack by 18%. They really think they're being clever with the whole 17-18 theme, don't they? They randomly change key spheres of certain types to tech key spheres, and they receive an additional key +1 per tech key sphere or rainbow key sphere, and they launch an additional super attack for free. So this unit does double super for free. For every key sphere obtained, attack and defense of 35%, and then for every tech key sphere obtained, attack plus 18% and defense of 17%. Notice they flip-flopped that around. It was 17% first and then 18%, but then when it came down to defense, they were just like, yeah, let's just give them the lower number for defense. They think they're funny. 2 or more tech key spheres obtained, or 1 rainbow key sphere obtained, chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of and chance of evading enemies' attack by 35%. Wow, okay. Now, when attacking with 12 or more key spheres, attack and defense of 150%, and when HP is 35% or less, damage reduction rate 17% and chance of evading enemy's attack by another 18%. And then when receiving a Ki Blast super attack, nullifies it when HP is 35% or more, or with 7 or more key spheres obtained. And androids category allies attack and defense of 15% for 2 turns with 8 or more key spheres obtained. So yes, unfortunately, as you do read this right here on this last part there, at least according to the wording, yes, you need to be hit with a Ki Blast super attack in order for them to actually acquire this part of their ability. I don't understand why they decided to separate this. It's a nice support. It really would have helped the team out. It really would have gone pretty far, but unfortunately they decided to really bottleneck this so that you wouldn't be able to abuse it on the regular. So yes, to be able to get this 15% off rotational support from them, you do need to both acquire 8 or more key spheres and also be receiving a Ki Blast super attack on them specifically. Now their active skill is still the same. It's still Ghost Usher, delay a single target enemy's attack for 1 turn. It still can only be activated when facing only 1 enemy whose HP is 35% or more, or when you're fighting 3 or more enemies at once. Now their links are Android Assault, Organic Upgrade, Twin Terrors, Nightmare, Brutal Beatdown, Dismal Feature, and Fierce Battle. Honestly, I'm not too happy with these links in general. They don't even have shocking speed. Their links have always been kind of a bit of an issue, and you'll understand that when we go over their partners, but categories, they are not on a lot. They're only on 7 categories currently in the game, so it does limit their actual team placements on there. There's obviously several options for them to go on to, but majority of the issue is that Android 16 provides them with such a stable support that it's what's making them worth still running. If you threw this unit onto a random team, it would be essentially like they did in EZA. You would essentially at that point just be using them for their Ghost Usher. Not to say that they're worthless, it's just that their defense takes a very big deep dip. Now, their link partners are going to be basically 17 and 18s. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, these two 17 and 18s are not eligible for Super EZAs. We have a bunch of free-to-play 17 and 18s in here, and we have a bunch of sub-EZAs in here that also are not viable for Super EZAs. And then we're still waiting on this double 17 GT unit to actually get an EZA, and when that does happen, this will be a very good partner, I imagine. But until then, we're pretty bottlenecked for quote-unquote perfect partners for them. So until then, you're essentially just going to be looking for partners that fill up with support, Android's Assault, and probably Nightmare and Fierce Battle. It would be nice if you could get Twin Terrors off, as Twin Terrors does give an extra 5% dodge chance and key +2 in attack and defense of 5%. Whenever this procs up, it will help out immensely, I feel, as far as the dodge chance goes. Let's just kind of like go over it real quick before we get into their defense numbers. I want to give an idea of what their damage reduction looks like. So damage reduction wise, they have 17% right here. They have another 35% right here. So 35 and 15 would be 50, so +2. So you have a 52% damage reduction at all times, so long as you acquire 2 or more tech key spheres or at least 1 rainbow key sphere. So 52% damage reduction on the regular, pretty good. That's pretty nice. Now, they do have a potential extra 17% damage reduction right here, which would put them up to sorry, I'm a child. It would put them up to 69% damage reduction. But you have to be below HP of 35% or less. That is a big, tall order, I feel, because with this team, I don't feel like there's too many times where that's going to happen. Short of you going into content where you're getting slot locked every 5 seconds, or getting super locked constantly, and really just getting pummeled in some of these events. I don't see your HP falling below 35% that often, but you know, when it does happen, essentially you will be sitting pretty fine for the most part on them getting attacked post-super. Now, they also will receive 18% dodge chance when you get below 35% HP. But let's see how much dodge chance. Actually, it's pretty easy. They have 53% dodge chance. They have 52% damage reduction and 53% dodge chance naturally, as long as you get 2 or more tech key spheres or 1 rainbow key sphere. And then they'll have 69% damage reduction and 60% dodge chance if you're falling below 35% HP. So if you magically got off the Twin Terrors upgrade, that would be a 65% chance to dodge, actually. So at that point, where they're looking at a pretty good dodge chance and good damage reduction, they essentially almost, keyword, couldn't die, depending on the enemy. It would be very, very difficult, essentially. They are a very good tanky kind of unit. I actually do like the way they are built to a degree. I do wish it wasn't like restricted into the form that it is. My biggest beef, and I think the big thing a lot of people need to look out for on this unit, is specifically the key spheres that you obtain. So here's the deal. If you require just normal key spheres, you will get attack and defense of 35%. If you acquire tech key spheres, you're acquiring both the 35 and the 18 and 17 right here. So if you're acquiring tech key spheres, you're not just getting 35% freaking, you're not just getting 35%. You're actually getting, what, 40 or 52%? You're getting 53% attack and 52% defense per key sphere obtained. That is an absurd level of increased damage. That is an absurd level of increased defense. If you brought Takoyaki with you and you just orb changed the field into tech key spheres, this unit is easily one of the best nuking units in the game. Like, dang. Well, maybe not. Hard to say. They're good nuker, I will say that. So, with all that being rambled on and said, let's just go ahead and move on to the defense numbers finally. All right, first we're going to go through the 55% calculations for them, the compliments of Blood Raven over on Twitter. So I'm just going to do the blunt big and small numbers. So where is my pointer? All right, so without support and 7 tech key spheres, 7 tech key spheres, by the way, not normal orbs. You on super attack, you'll be at 1.7 million defense, rounded up. Start a turn, you'd only be at 200k. On a double super, which you get for free, you'll be at 2.2 million defense. What this means is that essentially you have the ability to tank about a 4 million super, maybe 4.5 million. Not too crazy. On a triple super, if your hidden potential goes off, then you get up to 2.8 here. That's not really that impressive. Once again, you're barely tanking a 6 million super. You're still taking excess received damage from that. Now, with the 16 support mixed with the new STR 17, which everybody's calling MVP 17, which doesn't make any sense because the character art takes place before freaking the Tournament of Power, so it shouldn't be MVP 17. Sorry. So anyways, with the 16 and 17, new 16 and 17% support, double 16 support, by the way, when receiving an attack, you have, oh boy, it's going to be a lot. So 7 orbs obtained, 900k defense. When 16 gets hit at the beginning of the turn, their defense will pop up to 1.2. When 16 super attacks, he'll be pumping the 17 and 18's defense up to 1.5 million defense. And then on super attack, they will jump all the way up to a 4 million defense. And then when they double super, they'll be at 4.8. And then if they triple super, they'll be at 5.5 million defense. So as you can see, just having 17 and the new STR 17 and the new AGL 16 literally doubles this unit's stats. So when I say that they perform differently based on being on the 16 team, I mean they perform dramatically different. They might as well be a completely different unit. And this is mostly due to the fact of the orbs that they acquire. The difference between the two isn't that staggering. It's just the tech keys. It's the key spheres that they're obtaining and the boost that they're getting and how it's multiplied. That's actually doing the raw amount of work here. Now, without that support in 12 tech key spheres, or 2 rainbow keys, and 2 rainbow key spheres, evidently, you can on super attack get up to 2.5 million, a double 3.3, and a triple 4.2. Now, when receiving a key blast super at 4.4, interesting. So, I mean, you're getting up to about roughly the same level of stats right there without the support from 16 and 17, but you do need to collect 12 tech key spheres, which honestly is just dang near impossible short of orb changing the field with items. So this isn't really like a realistic take here. It's more like you could potentially have this situation. It's just unlikely. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a serious numbers up in here at the bottom. So I'm kind of covering it a little bit. Let me try to move this. So with 12 tech key spheres, 2 rainbows, double 16 support and 17 support, you can get up to a staggering, disturbing 8.3 million defense. If you get a triple super, 16 gets hit, You have a double super from 17, STR 17 from the previous turn or this turn. And these guys also take a Ki Blast super attack. Essentially what this means is that in the perfect case scenario here, this unit can potentially tank a 16 million super attack. That's pretty wild and crazy, although almost dang near impossible short of setting it up perfectly. It is pretty crazy that they can even hit that number just in general. I would just keep in mind once again that a lot of their stats are purely based off of tech key spheres. If you grab a crap ton of tech key spheres, that's where you're comfortable. So, did I mention that was only the 55%? Anyways. So, yes, that was only the 55%. So, the rainbow can get to a maximum of about roughly 10 million defense in those same situations. Yeah, so they can take a 20 million super, just about. Pretty crazy levels of defense here. Though I will say the more likely scenario that you're going to range around is going to be the 7 tech key spheres with the 16-17 support. And on super attack be around 5 million defense and then 6 million defense. If you have only like 3 dupes or 2 dupes and you don't have rainbow, probably knock off about 500k defense off of that. That's still in the 5 million range, no matter what way you look at it, 4.8 to 5 million range. So, I mean, there is some pretty good numbers here for that. So rainbow and duped up definitely does make a huge difference, I will definitely say. So, yeah, crazy numbers. But once again, you really drastically need to get tech key spheres 100% of the time. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the right side of the screen that's been scrolling around, and we're going to go into detail here. So build suggestions are right now. At 55%, I would highly suggest you just screw all and throw in additional level 5 and additional level 2 bronze and silver orbs so that you can go from your natural... Wait, that's not right. Hold on a sec. All right, I apologize for that. So that was my mess up error. This is what happens when you have to rush to get some work done. So at 55%, I do suggest just kind of leaning into the fact that they are a tech unit and go on with the flow of that. So they start out with a natural level 5 crit at that point. So put in a level 5 crit silver and a level 2 crit bronze to get up to a level 12. This will give you an extra 24% chance to critical. The reason I'm saying to do this is because they do not have any crit inside of their passive aside from this 35% right here. 35% is not enough. In all of my builds of all history, every time I do a build, I take into consideration of if the unit has 50% chance to crit or not, and if they want to do damage. This is technically also a nuking unit. Therefore, they need at least 55% crit chance. If you're not choosing to utilize them for damage, then you need to utilize them for defense and not offense. This is a unit that needs to pick or choose, essentially. You either go for a full kind of damage focus with the critical, and yes, critical matters, or you go for the fact of their dodge chance or their additional for defense. And at that point, they're becoming more of a tank post-super than they are being a damage dealer. You can't really have the best of all worlds with this unit. They want to try to, of course, but it's all RNG. And my job, I feel, is to try and focus up on these skills to bring out their, well, hidden potential. You know, I didn't feel like I had to explain it like that, but I really do. Anyways. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to the one dupe build. So I actually have 2 different one dupe builds for you. The first one is going to be if you choose not to go the critical route. If you chose not to go the critical route, then you need to choose either additional or dodge. I highly advise against doing a mixture build with this unit, or any unit for that matter, and just choose either additional or dodge, and put that up to level 9, put in either a level 5 additional or dodge, and put in either a level 2 additional or dodge, whichever one you chose, and that will make it a level 16. Now, a level 16 additional is a 32% chance to additional attack, and a level 16 dodge is just a 16% chance to dodge. What you'll be left with is one extra node to pump into your critical, leaving you with a level 8, which is a 16% chance to critical still. Now, if you want to focus on the damage build for this unit and you want them to nuke, then I would suggest putting all of your nodes into critical, which would give you 9 plus what you already naturally have, which is a 5, which would give you a natural 14. Now, natural 14 with a level 5 critical and a level 2 bronze critical would pump that up to a 21, which is a 42% chance to critical attack. Whatever the last one is, so the last node, you just choose either additional or dodge. Whatever one you choose, I suggest you bring that over to when you do get inevitably a second dupe. So either put the rest into additional or put the rest into dodge. Now, once again, at full dupes, or at least 2 dupes and above, which, by the way, I didn't think I also had to mention this, but sometimes people surprise me. For the 1 dupe builds, you need to go to the bottom right-hand path first. Bottom right-hand path first, and when you get your second dupe, you go to the top left path. Got it? Okay, good talk. Now, for the 2 dupes and above build, I suggest you go for critical primarily. Now, as a tech unit, they can get to a maximum of level 20. So if you do go for a max of crit, like literally full-on crit, you do have the ability to get their critical chance up to level 30, which is a 60% chance. But with this build, I'm actually suggesting that you take one of those nodes, bring it down to a natural level 17, and give an extra node to the additional or dodge route. What this does is that it gives you a little bit higher of a chance to have that additional going off, and you have the ability to replace the bronze with an additional to pump that up to a 20% chance to additional. Very low odds, but, you know, some is better than none. Now, level 9 dodge is once again just a 9% chance to dodge. If you did choose the level 17 to 27 here, while having a level 5 silver and gold crit orbs, you can get up to a level 27. A level 27 is equivalent to a 54% chance to critical. 54% is still good. It's above 50% chance, and that's where I'm comfortable. So, if you chose not to go for that, then my next suggestion would be you, once again, still need to choose additional or dodge. Are you going to go for full additional? If you're going for full additional, then I highly suggest that you just have a defense orb. I think it could definitely add up if you get that triple super. You can get up to a natural level 15 with additional or dodge, and then with a level 5 gold and silver orb, get that up to a 25, which would be a 50% chance to additional, or just a 25% chance to dodge. And with the leftover nodes, in this case, you would actually be at a level 11 critical chance. So, with the build suggestions out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the roll tips. Roll tips I had a little bit of craze with, unfortunately. With their stats in mind and how much defense they get with the tech orbs, they're basically relying on getting those tech key spheres. So if you do take them into account with the leader skill and going with, say, like the STR cell or the AGL cell, their stats are going to be dramatically lower. Just because they don't have the AGL Android 16 support double. They'll still get a good amount if you use a friend leader, of course, but it's just not going to be anywhere near the same unless you're just regularly getting to 12 plus key spheres on a consistency, and it's just not going to happen that often. So primarily I do suggest going ahead and having Android 16 or at least a friend as the leader. and then either STR Cell or AGL Cell as a backup leader. There's not too many other options for them, sadly. Partners-wise, they don't also, once again, don't really have too many crazy partners. The new Ranger 17, the STR one, or obviously 16 are their best leader option or partner options for slot 1 and just general key support there. Supposedly, this physical 16-18 is supposed to be getting an EZA soon, and I have to imagine that they will be, you know, pretty decent enough to be partners. And then there's the GT-17 there that is a very good support dodge-centered unit. 19 and 20 are also getting an EZA and should be great partners along with them to be floating. And then the GT-17 units eventually will get an EZA. I keep putting them in Android builds, and I just keep hoping that they're going to EZA soon, but so far they haven't. Best slot position, they are straight up a slot 2 unit. Regardless of what way you look at it, their defense is not good at the start of turn. Even with all of the buffed up support, they still only have a start of turn defense of 630k. We have bosses that are doing 2 to 3 million normals right now because they get so buffed up if they get attacked a bunch of times or if too many turns elapse. So they are not a slot 1 unit. If you know exactly how much their normals are doing and they're going to do a Ki Blast super, by all means throw this unit into slot 1 at that point. But otherwise, if you don't know, and I mean, you could get absolutely creamed if this unit doesn't super attack, or at the very least has 16 support getting dropped on them. So, I mean, start of turn defense, not amazing. Post super, broken. It's a big balancing board there, but essentially, they shouldn't be in slot 1 unless a Ki Blast super is coming at them and they can survive the normals. Otherwise, they should always be in slot 2. 16 would always be taking up slot 1. So, boy, I apologize. I had to rush this one out. I'm still late right now at the time of recording. So, but anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the build suggestions for 17 and 18. I do like the unit. I just really hope that 16 lasts a while so that we can see them for a good long time, because there is a vast difference on this unit being on 16's team and getting 16 support versus, well, not being. So do let me know the combinations of teams that you're going to utilize, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day and a good night.